Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's gonna be none other than Xena gonna be taking on Mule Bot in a PvT. Now, Xena has got a fairly long list of victims as far as when it plays Protoss. It seems to have really mastered a Tempest Rush. Now, it does have a variety of builds, so we're going to see whether that's the strategy it goes for once again, or whether it changes it up. Anyway, before we get too far into this video, make sure to go ahead and click that like button, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. I certainly enjoy casting them. And then, yeah, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I know that the YouTube algorithm, for recommended, it's pretty good, but if you want to subscribe, that'll help you get the videos more often, particularly if you click that bell icon. So, let's see. We have got a Zealot on the way for Xena, as it does open one base, double gas. We do have a bit of a proxy going up. I didn't catch what build it said it was doing at the start. However, it may just be a simple gateway push. Meanwhile, Mulebot is being extra greedy and going for a command center on the low ground. A command center first, which is usually quite a strong build, but then look at this, a random Rax out on the map. So, a bit of cheese covered in more cheese to start this one off. I don't know how well this is going to go for Mulebot, as Xena does have this probe moving by. It turns around, though. Will it scout the Rax or not? Looks like Xena may want to use the probe to build something else. It's interesting, as the probe wants to go one way, but then it's getting pulled another way by another function or something. And we do have a forge on the way as well for Xena, so it's potentially going to be Void Rays, potentially Tempest. We'll see. The proxy is something that I haven't seen too much of. Behind this, though, Mulebot does have a factory building in the map as well, so just playing it incredibly, sort of oddly, I guess. I was going to say cheesy, but it's not the cheesiest build, as it went for CC first. Now there's a factory building for the Terran bot, and this is going to create a wacky situation that I don't think either bot is prepared to handle, potentially. We'll see, though, as Xena does have a cannon and a battery building back at home. This is a nice catch-all in order to keep it safe against a potential counterattack. Now, Mulebot, it does have 2 mules dropping at a time, so it's got a nice income compared to its opponent, as Xena has the first Void Ray move on in towards its opponent's base. Mulebot, meanwhile, has got a tech lab and another barracks building and an eBay. However, the aggression has started as that Void Ray cancels a depot, starts to shoot away on this Rax, and then, of course, once it takes some damage, which it has already killed 2 Marines, pardon me for missing that, that was quite speedy that it got that accomplished. Mulebot behind this is producing 3 Marines at a time, and Marines are pretty good against Void Rays, just not in single numbers where the Void Ray can regenerate shields once it's killed them. This Rax is attempting to be repaired. No turrets or anything going up for Mulebot. An attempt at a depot being shot, and the Void Ray is already doing some work with a second one on the way behind this. So Mulebot may just be dying to this proxy Void Ray cheese. It's not an easy thing to program a response to. Any hope of a counterattack gets shut down. I believe that was a Stalker killing a Marine. Xena seems to have checkmated its opponent pretty darn well. A starport is on the way for Mulebot. It's producing more production, which seems to be a bit of a flaw. I do like the bit of a proxy, but it's really just, it's already got up some production, but for example, it's not making a Marine right now. It's just getting more add-ons, getting more tech, as Xena starts to go to work with these Void Rays. +1 armor being attempted for the Terran bot. Mulebot is now very supply blocked, having lost 2 depots. Is going to lose a Rax as well, and so that means there's going to be absolutely no production for the Terran. 3 depots building at the natural, so it is accommodating for that supply block. Mulebot still has decent money being brought in with more workers than its opponent. The Terran bot is up to 7 SCVs and a siege tank. The problem is it needs to handle the Void Rays, and it's losing all its SCVs inside the main base. A Widow Mine could be nice in order to try and defend against this. Widow Mines are quite good against Void Rays. They pack a high punch. We have got a random Marine find the proxy of Mulebot, or of Xena, pardon me. However, there's so many batteries and a Void Ray to defend it. I do not think Mulebot will have any success. It says tag 5 minutes. I wanted to tag earlier, but tags need global chat. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that relates to. Marines are attempting to clean this one up. However, the main base of Mulebot is completely ransacked. Where'd that Widow Mine end up? It has burrowed on the ramp, so it could potentially help defend this location. Unfortunately, there is no cloak for that mine, so once it fires, it will probably die. Another tank is on the way, and Mulebot has been knocked down to 4 SCVs as it just sends more SCVs to the main base to try and balance its economy, but it's not going to happen. It does still have that mule money coming on in. Just the problem is the Void Ray count has grown quite a bit. There is a random Liberator setup, getting some shots off, killing off the Zealot. So, I mean, that's a success, but everything else is not a success for Mulebot. As the command center flies on over, the tanks are trying to clean up the cannons, so they've got the right idea. But now the Void Rays are coming on in, going to kill those off. And Mulebot, I think, is probably just dead in this one. With 7 Marines out running around all over the place, that Widow Mine is still present. The Natural hasn't been found by Xena, so I mean, there's always a chance that it doesn't find this. Another couple Liberators are out, but so I mean, but here's the problem. Yeah, Liberators trying to fight Void Rays is not good for Liberators. You need at least like 10 in order to deal any meaningful damage. And then Mulebot now gonna have its production found, so say goodbye to any units that would potentially save it. Xena may take a bit to find this natural base, though. Mulebot, I mean, dropping more mules, trying to get more SCVs out, as Xena seems to have checkmated its opponent in this one. Stimpack starts, that might help. I kid, of course, as the Void Rays clean up all the production. Mulebot behind this, what does it have? Random Marines running all over the place. It did get combat shield and +1 armor amidst all this chaos, but I do believe Xena has won this one, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna fast forward a little bit, and now's the time that I reveal that this is gonna be a multi-part cheesy video. I don't like to announce it at the start of the match because it kind of gives the first one away. But let's see, Mulebot going for a fusion core, which is interesting, seeing it has no other tech. Xena says time to take out the trash, aka where are you hiding? And it immediately finds the base of Mulebot. And so Xena says attacking, 34 supply. It will get the W. Well done by Xena, showing us that it's got multiple strong Stargate-based cheeses. GG, outload us into the next match. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in our next match. It's going to be Xena taking on Eris's variant, Dysnomia. A very good Zerg bot, but even greedier than Eris. I previously casted a match of it. Dysnomia opened 4 hatcheries, so we're gonna see if it does that once again, as Xena pretty much just cheeses. So that could be setting Dysnomia up for some poor success. We've got a Mass Marine as one of the builds, Proxy Marauders, another Cyclone, BC Rush, Macro, Bio, 1%. Interesting statistics on those games. Now, Xena does open with a very quick double gas, even getting up the second racks before, or second refinery before the racks, which is very unconventional. Now, bot things are a little bit different in bot games, though. Dysnomia sends out a drone to take the 3rd base, so going to be trying to get away with that insane greed once again. We'll see if another drone moves out to take the 4th hatchery sometime after that. As there's the 3rd hatch, double hatch expand, something that isn't even common in regular Starcraft 2. Dysnomia then tries to one-up it by going for triple hatcheries, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But if you can get away with it, why not? And Dysnomia actually doesn't go for the 4 hatcheries, so maybe it only goes for that in-game. So it could be one of those things where it selects its build based off the race or the matchup or previous statistics. So maybe it knows that it needs to be a bit safer against Xena. So we're not going to be having that ridiculous levels of greed. Now, looks like Xena is going for double factories, so I can only assume that this is going to be the Cyclone-based build for the random, now playing Terran bot. And yeah, Cyclones versus Zerg are definitely an interesting thing. They can have success against Roaches, but they're very poor against mass lings. Of course, they're not an easy thing to micro against. They're not an easy thing to program either. Xena does have a reactor done on this Rax. We'll see if it lifts that factory onto that Rax location, and it looks like it will, so probably going to be quick Hellions then, or it could be Cyclones. I always forget that this version of the game is a little bit older, so you don't need a tech lab to build the Cyclones. And let's see, we've got a Roach Warren on the way now for Dysnomia once more. As Queens are on the way, Dysnomia straight up told us what its plan is. Roach max out, which can be a very strong build with the speed mining that these bots do. We're going to see whether Xena can potentially slow this down or not. Hurricane Engines is on the way, which increases the speed of the Cyclones. But the first two Cyclones are going to be coming on out. We'll see how aggressive Xena gets with them. The answer is very, as it sends these out right away, not wasting any time, which is a very important factor of this build. Dysnomia has scouted the two Cyclones moving out. It's got a good amount of minerals in the bank. In fact, too many minerals in the bank. Not building any more Queens. So I do wonder what it's saving these resources for. Maybe it's short on gas, but wants to build Roaches. That's the only thing I can assume right now. Why Dysnomia is a little bit bottlenecked. Cyclones do come on in, though, and they're going to start locking onto this location. There is a second gas mining, so that should be more Roach production for Dysnomia. We'll have an answer to our question, and we already do. As soon as it hits 25 gas, it fires up another Roach, so... Although, as I say that, then it doesn't this time, so who knows what's going on, as it fires up some lings, some drones. So Dysnomia just floating a little bit of money, which is not ideal. These Cyclones are already going to work, having killed a Queen, a Roach, and two Lings. Now, more Roaches are popping out for Dysnomia. It does have triple hatch production. The problem will be, as the Cyclone count grows, whether they can just take better and better trades as time goes on. Dysnomia is doing what it can. The Cyclones for Xena are just constantly being pumped out, although one dies. That seems to be a bit of a tough thing to micro on the Cyclones, because you got to think about it, they operate by locking on, so if you want to secure a kill on a unit, you sometimes have to follow it, but that means running into enemy units, which is not a better thing. I do wonder if the Cyclones would have better luck if they simply broke the lock-on when a unit started retreating, but then again, these are bots, so they always pull their units back. They don't forget about it. Look at that, Xena, or Dysnomia, pardon me, pulling back Roaches that get locked on. There is still more Roaches being produced. Xena, though, then has a bit of a micro mess up once again as it elects to go forward. More Cyclones are being produced for the Terran bot. We've got a command center going up the natural base, so there will be even further production as the Terran's economy is going to grow slowly with this very delayed natural command center, but it could help out. We also have got a starport on the way for the Terran bot, so potentially a bit of a transition, which may be important. Anything air-based against a heavily Roach-based composition would be good, but we do see a bit of a flaw in the Cyclone lock-on logic. As the units that get locked on, they simply retreat, and then the Cyclone runs into the enemy units. So Dysnomia is doing quite a good job defending this so far. More Cyclones being pumped out for Xena. Xena operating on the principle, if you got it, use it. Use it or lose it, or in this case, use it and lose it. As we now have a tech lab building on this starport. I do wonder if this is going to be just to build a Raven to potentially counter burrowed or cloaked units. The Cyclones, I mean, they get a lock onto a Queen, and they will kill the Queen, which is nice, hindering a bit of larva production there, but we see it once again. The micro of the Cyclones is not necessarily optimally programmed. They would, of course, get less damage and kills if they simply broke the lock-on when they were near other enemy attacking units, but I do wonder how that would play out in this situation, if the micro of Xena was changed to reflect that. Say if these Cyclones, they came in, they locked on, but as soon as they got too close to enemy Roaches, they pulled back. Like, the Cyclones have a very short lock-on cooldown. It's only 3 seconds, so they could easily just fire off another lock-on, be constantly getting those lock-ons and retreating. I think that might have been better for Xena. Xena is now saying, I'm retreating. However, as I say that, another Cyclone comes across the map. Will get a lock-on onto a Roach. All the Roaches are retreating, but look at that. His bros step forward to defend it. And now the Roaches also have Burrow, which is why this Raven that was produced is very important. More Cyclones are being produced for Xena as the natural base is getting established. But the problem is Dysnomia is on 66 drones against 30 SCVs. And yeah, look at this. Another Cyclone gonna run forward and die. It's just been a repetition, which is not a good thing. As, yeah, look at these Roaches, they just keep moving forward. The lock-on not getting broken thanks to that Raven, so it almost gets another Roach. But look at the kills. 5 dead Queens, 4 dead Roaches versus 18 dead Cyclones. Resources lost is horrible for Xena. The Terran bot is building up a few more Cyclones now. It hasn't really ever got up more than like 3 or 4 at a time. So we'll see if it ever manages to pull that off as the economy is growing for the Terran bot. Xena's looking to move forward once again. Dysnomia has a ridiculous amount of Roaches, though, saying, you look busy, I'll come back later, as it rolls up onto 45 Roaches, which Dysnomia has built at a ridiculous pace. The Roaches are seemingly in full-blown attack mode now, though, as Dysnomia is going for the throat, and I think Xena has no option in this game but to die. Imagine if it hadn't lost all those Cyclones, though, and say it had 20 Cyclones to potentially help defend this. But it is not meant to be, as Dysnomia is going to roll its opponent with all these Roaches. SCVs coming down the ramp, but the Cyclones are having a bit of a hard time. Looks like 3 of them do come from behind. Roach burrows, though, to stay alive. Yeah, Cyclones just do not seem to get the efficiency that bots need. SCVs being pulled off the line for Xena, but it shall not live long, as, yeah, Dysnomia has got this one. Solid defense, as always, choosing to go for the Roach Warren instead of just the quick 4 hatcheries is definitely a better choice against Xena, I think. And yeah, there is no stopping this many Roaches, as it's like if Stefano was a bot, just making Roaches. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed this one, a couple of shorter matches with some interesting results, that's for sure. Interesting results, interesting strategies, but it just goes to show you can program a bot to do whatever you want, and that's why we do have such a cool range of strategies with these bots. Yeah, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. You guys are the best at it, always blowing up that like button in the comment section. You can say more bots, more bagels, whatever it may be. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as I put up daily videos on this and my second channel, which is linked down below. Big thanks to everyone that does support the channel via the membership program. It means a lot. We're trying to hit our goal of 10 members, and it's appreciated to everyone that does support. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in as the last factory goes down. GG.